Hey, Masa,
Yeah.
and thank you for joining us again.
Mhm.
So, in your short interview, you mentioned a word, post-capitalism, which I haven't heard people use in a while. And I would like it if you could expand on what you mean by that. And yeah.
So let's go back to our kind of history, how human as we're going to develop our civilizations. So, in a previous, let's say almost like 1,000 ago, actually we didn't so much stick with money. We actually more stick to land. So most of leader, political system, they stick to how much side of the bigger land they're gonna own, then how much they're gonna produce the crops or like eat something from the land. That's kind of how they're gonna measure their economic growth, right? But these days, once we're gonna see the success of like a Hong Kong, Singapore, or including Switzerland, they were not so heavily rely on such land business anymore. Instead, what they're gonna make money is actually capital or finance, right? So from this perspective, what we can see the current social system is how we're gonna mainly driven by something like the economic driver or elements is actually the money. And that's how the capitalist system works. So, any kind of, the company's, the goal or any kind of organization goal, including country's goal, is how they're going to grow with the capital size matter, right? Capital matter for this in economic growth. Then, because of this, economic growth model, also we're going to see lots of social problems. Then first, critical problem is economic discrepancy. So because of the capitalist system, the like super rich people, every time they're gonna rich more and more, even like any kind of economic depression moment or something, because they have lots of money. Then even in a bear cycle, in an economic bear cycle, they still have own a lot of money, so they're gonna receive some kind of interest rates for the return, an annual yield or something. But the poor people doesn't have a lot of resources or money. That is why usually economic recession moments or depression moments, they lost their job, they have to use their saving, so they cannot receive any kind of yield revenue, unlike rich people. Then that also accelerates last 100 years or so. So that is why we're gonna see lots of super rich people. They're gonna own like a 99% of our wealth of the human earth. Then it's a huge problem. Then another problem we have to face right now is environmental destructions because of this economic growth. So when we see lots of emerging economy like Southeast Asia or like in Africa or India, since they also want to be rich, so that is why they also pursue some kind of economic wealth, more materially, from like a material perspective or something. So they want to live in a very good house. They want to have like a good car. They want to consume a lot of like good like fashion brands or like a good food and restaurant something. Then such huge economic growth like an enthusiasm also cause a lot of environmental destructions. Here's actually a very famous report published by WHO, World Food Organizations, is that in 2030, if we don't stop such economic growth level model, we need 2 R's to taking care of all human consumptions. So simply put, current human any kind of economic activity is overwhelm the reproduction capability of Earth itself. Because our whole food stuff is coming from the production cycle of the natural resource and human environment on Earth itself. So we cannot overwhelm that the reproduction capability of the Earth itself. But currently what we're doing is exactly overwhelming that capability. So which means we reconstruct or reinvent our economic system itself in a new way. Then still we are currently not clearly figure out what's the right directions or what is the right concept of the economic system. That's why currently we call it the post-capitalist system. So just we are thinking about the next model after the capitalist system. Then one of the key topics also we have to think about how we can achieve that goal is actually very much related to the concept of blockchain and Bitcoin. Is like how we're going to build more the sustainable and the decentralized, no political big power cannot control the system or something. That's to me pretty much tied connected to each other. But still, we have clarified, like, what's the key concept for the new economic system. Then, of course, in network states, is of course one of the concept. But to me, it looks like they're more focusing on the political nature, how they're going to define their social system. But to me, more important thing in the long term is we have to also focus on economic sustainability, also like how we're going to coexist together with natural environment of the earth itself.
Right.
Yeah.
It's ecological sustainability
Sure.
rather than just economical and also
True.
like social.
True.
Yeah.
So many angle, like also the definition of the happiness of the human too.
Right.
Yeah.
But then would you say like the post-capitalism is not necessarily complete abolishment of capitalism, but more so like a system where these other perspectives are taken into account, or do you imagine like a completely different system where the capital doesn't matter?
Yeah, so the capital doesn't matter is quite important because existing world, what's happening here that those like economically rich country can drive the innovations because they have a lot of risk money to put any kind of like smart people or something do something new, right? Then because of this, we also face a lot of unfairness about let's say some kind of smarter people, but he's coming from an emerging economy, cannot run kind of pretty much innovative technology or something in their local locations. So they have to move to like some kind of a more rich economic zone, such as U.S. or like Shenzhen in China, or like Europe and Switzerland or something. So because of it, it's like a lot of unfairness or having fear on innovation too. So if we can minimize such difference, every like a location community in Earth still, that's also pretty cool too. Like everyone pursue huge opportunity to change the world in a better place, right? Yeah, that's how I think like this way too. Yeah.
And could you go in more detail about this transition, or like how things would actually work after the transition?
So one of my big expectations, which is also related to why I moved to Switzerland, is like, so actually all the time when I talk about this story, I use US and Japan as a kind of typical opposite complacence, because US is, as we know, like the EACC model, effective accelerationism, means like they all the time pursue that techno-optimistic talents can do anything what they want. Then they can drive huge innovation there too, like Tesla, Google, Facebook, anything. That's true. But also because of this, like their nature or culture there, a lot of like lower income people or immigrants face a lot of like how to say they're gonna face a lot of social problem because of this the cultural nature of social infrastructure, because they don't care the quality of life. Most of the technologists doesn't care the quality of life. They pursue, they just want to be something, quite a new one, which drastically change the world.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, it's innovation and growth over all else.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. So they don't care about, the kind of the kids and the mother walking the street. They feel happy or something. They don't care. Yeah, right. But once look at the Japan, pretty much opposite side. They pretty much care about elder people, or like women with kids. They too much pay attention to those people. Because of this, they kill any kind of a seed for the potential big innovations. Then also Japan more prefer like how to say like a more similar culture. They don't so much pay attention to diversity. They all the time try to equalize how people think or how people behave in a specific social system. Then because of this, then usually most of the tech entrepreneurs, smart people, think differently, see the world differently. That's why they can change the world. But they usually, when we see in Japan, I also feel in many ways like this, that if I behave pretty much a different way against them, they try to kill me, like they try to crush me socially. So I cannot, they try to grab my hand. They cannot do anything like this. That's they do in Japan. So, but because of this, of course, when you travel to Japan, it's very safe, and also like every people behave very quietly, and also the quality of life is probably pretty much better than many other countries in the world. But once you look at those kind of technical innovation stuff, they are kind of dying. slowly dying, not drastically dying, but slowly dying. So the population number is also going down because they don't want to take immigrants, unlike US or Switzerland, because once they're going to take lots of immigrants, they have to do something change on this equalized social standard. But they don't want to do it. That's why they don't take immigrants, so the population number is decreasing. But why and how I see about the Switzerland is actually pretty well balanced from both perspective, which means like a social stability, but also they want to pursue more advanced model or try to drastically or improve their social system much more better way. So how are we gonna achieve such balanced model? I would say usually more balance between techno-optimism, also the social stability model. It's quite important. Then that's also actually I discussed with Ayla many about the more Tao philosophy in Asia, Yin-Yang model. It's kind of related to this concept, how we're gonna fuse the techno-optimism, also the social stability is one vision, but quite unified and well balanced. That is why this type of the social concept to me is a next generation model. Then from that perspective, I think Switzerland, Switzerland is the most closest country to reach that level. So next is what I'm thinking about, how we're going to scaling this social system outside of Switzerland by using blockchain or DAO, any kind of new technology coming up right now, or AI included, or decentralized AI infrastructure. That's how I see about next transitions probably coming to next 10 to 20 years or so. Yeah.
Right. I would say like in Europe in general, that's kind of the similar state as in Japan. Like people have more like family values and don't care so much about the economical success, and that's why there's very little innovation in terms of like technological startups compared to like US.
US, yeah.
So yeah, like finding the right balance is really
it's very important right now.
But so what? Yeah, you want to speak more about like what interests you about Zuitzerland and Switzerland, and yeah, what we can take away.
Yeah. So what do we want to achieve with this kind of Switzerland social system is that Swiss people also looking for the next visions or next model, how they're going to improve their social system itself. Then on the other, along with it, also the crypto industry also looking for the how we're going to realize the network states, right? Then thinking about the the opportunity, I think still the Switzerland is a kind of best location on earth to pursue this type of like social experiment project, because here's a kind of little bit of human history too, because about 500 years ago we still have some free land on earth, such as North America that was free. Some people live there, but still a lot of white space out there. But now we don't have any free land. So think from that perspective, when we want to realize such network states, it's kind of inevitable for us to collaborate with existing social system. It's inevitable, no frontier. Then from that perspective, of course, you can run such kind of network state type of experiments in an emerging economy, let's say South America or something, but they also their own country and governance there. Then, of course, you can incubate such system or such experiments inside the governance model, but once you're going to grow up at a certain level, I think some conflict will come here. I think it's inevitable. So which one, in a worst scenario, those new network states emerging from those South America or something, or Africa or something, they might do some kind of independence war against this government, right?
Yeah. And that's also like why Prospera, and I don't know if there are more projects like that, the Honduras created like this special economic zone where they have a lot more autonomy.
Yeah.
But I don't know what's
still inside
the legal side, like it's still inside the country, so can the Honduras just change their mind about the zone,
or could it
like
or
other
happen
contracts?
Some military power try to crush them? That might happen.
Yeah, I know. Interesting. And so like to close it, any thoughts on the NextGen Village and what really excites you about the NextGen Village project?
Well, yeah. So why I love the Next Village try to do is they also see the kind of similar vision or similar direction what we're looking for. They also try to improve the social system with their project, then try to build the advanced model. That's exactly we can collaborate each other by using our community capability, also technical capability, including blockchain or DAO operation stuff too. So that is why one of the possibility we can pursue with them is that that also could be a major potential of the direction for this project is our project itself to be a kind of concept of new canton for the Switzerland. Then this canton take the initiative for the entire Switzerland federated canton system more much more better way. Then try to inspire them, then try to help each other, or we're gonna also transfer our knowledge to them. Then each canton more build a more advanced social system. So that's one of the key visions that I want to build with the NextGen Village. Then of course that social system is definitely well balanced model, much more better way compared with current Switzerland social system itself. Then once reach some kind of political consensus with the Swiss Federation, that's also my expectation because the Swiss Federation is more like a decentralized way, very down-as way. So they are more diplomatically, also politically safe way to achieve such economic independence or political independence, this new canton system or new canton concept. Then once we're going to reach this, peaceful, agreements with them, next up we can think about how we're going to, scaling up this new canton concept outside Switzerland, like Europe or like Asia or South America, anywhere. Then at that moment, what I expect is a lot of those type of network state type of the community is growing up already in this global basis stuff. That's exactly good timing for us to work together with them as kind of connection with the node. Then we also help them out to how they can achieve the political independence or economic independence, in a more peaceful way. Yeah, that's actually my next 50 to 100 years. My expectation was going to happen in human history. Yeah.
Awesome. That sounds great.
Yeah, long term, pretty much long term.
Yeah,
Probably I already died at the moment when I see the whole picture happening in the world. Yeah.
I hope not, but yeah, these are very long-term visions.
Yes, pretty much long term.
All right, should we end on that note, or do you have anything else that you want to any closing thoughts?
Yeah, so this is a big social experience ever in a human life. So let's do it together. Then make it happen together.
Awesome.
That's it.
Thank you.